Hey everybody, welcome back to another Peace Luv Biz episode with me, your host Steve Higgins, VP Banana. And this week we are talking about the end of year pivot. And everybody's heard us say pivot throughout the year because we do it pretty regularly. But all business owners really need to get into this and make sure they're set up for 2026. So, our resident boss banana, Mary, how are you doing?
I have no idea how I'm doing, but I'm content. I'm getting there. I'm content.
Yeah.
We've had a really good year, a lot of changes, lots and lots of pivots, and I feel good about it overall. I mean, you're going to have things that happen. You're going to have changes in life. And as long as you don't take your luggage and unpack and stay in that bad spot and you learn from it, you're good. Just don't settle there.
Yeah.
Because
I
life
think on
is
the
gonna
whole,
happen.
we're in a way better spot than we were 12 months ago.
Yeah.
We have evolved and adapted, re-evolved and adapted, and it's
Mhm.
just a constant evolution, which obviously the end of year is an easy time to close a chapter opening into a new one, but that's really why we wanted to do this, and we do this really regularly. And if something isn't working, we try and figure out how to change it and put that audible in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thought this would
And
be
I
the
think it's
time for
just
everybody to
important.
kind of do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. There's gonna be times in life that just really suck, but it happens, and that's what life is. So you've got to learn from it and grow from it and just do better.
Yeah. And before we've talked about being reactive and then being proactive and intentional with how you
Hmm.
approach your business. And, you have to be reactive. Yes, I'm not saying that you don't,
Hmm.
but there's so many things that you can do when you look reflectively and say, okay, what am I going to put in place to either streamline, aid, or, just make the whole process better?
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of where I'm at, and that's really where we're going to go. We're going to be talking about reviewing the year honestly, and really, yeah, you
Hmm.
could say I was great and give yourself an A+ for everything, but then that's just going to set you up for failure. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
First of all,
Absolutely.
I'm going to talk about cleaning up the financial side of things, and getting ready for that strong start in 2026. So starting with the review side, I'll put my teeth back in a second, I swear. First things first, what went well and what didn't. Before you
Hmm.
dive into the minutiae, you'll obviously have highlights of key moments where it's like, okay, this sucked, or this
Yeah.
was really good. And,
And be
it's
honest with yourself
for
what
us, I
you
don't
did
think we had,
well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like you said, don't give yourself an A+ if you don't deserve it. Like, be honest with yourself because you can't grow and learn if you're lying to yourself. You just can't.
I think failing forward is always big because
Yeah.
mistakes are the roadmap to
Hmm.
success. And, they are missed takes. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing so long as you learn from them.
So long as you
Um,
learn.
yeah. And, if it takes
Okay.
2 or 3 times, you'll figure it out either eventually or you won't. And maybe business isn't the thing for you. Go pick up a W-2 job somewhere.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's okay. Just you gotta learn. You
Yeah,
gotta
that's
figure it out.
100%. Now, getting to the end of the year, you'll know where your P&Ls are, your cash flow statements, expenses, all of that stuff. At what point for you on the accounting side do people look at their P&Ls and it's like, okay, did I really do as good as I thought this year? What kind of things do they look for?
Well, and I think what's kind of scary is people do not regularly look at their P&Ls, and we do. I do full audits right now, so making sure everything is jiving, make sure we have everything. But it's not just making sure you made money; it's knowing how much you made. Because what happens at the end of January? We start tax season again. And so if you have no idea what you made and you made a ass load of money, you're paying taxes, my love. And it's knowing that and navigating that and understanding that. So it's not just like if you have a loss, obviously you don't want a loss, but you need to be mindful of how much money you're making because that impacts your personal taxes.
That's a nice little time to plug the tax plan inside of what we do.
Yeah.
Because it's not too late. And first off, if you have made a boatload of money, congrats, good. But if you want to keep as much of it as you can, get an appointment with us now before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Go to peacelovebiz.com, get that appointment scheduled, and we might be able to help you. I say shameless plug, it is our podcast after all.
Yeah. That part is true.
If people are making a lot of money, did they anticipate making that much money? And if they expected to make more money, obviously if expenses were high or if sales volume isn't there, that's when you can really look and say, okay, if I didn't make as much money as I wanted to, what will be the difference next year? I
Yeah.
say as many sales, I'm talking revenue. Did I make enough sales, but my expenses were too high? Do I have too much stuff going out? That's where working with a CFO like yourself would really come in handy.
Mhm.
So, and if you don't have
Yeah,
that
being
person
being
like Mary,
conscious of
that's huge.
what you're doing, how much you're selling it for, your services or your product, and then also knowing and navigating what your actual expenses are is a huge part of everything. I mean, you need to be in the know. Be conscious of your business. It's not a hobby. No, it's your livelihood, and you need to be aware of what is incurring in your business. Who, what do you want to offer? What do you want to do? Are you doing what you want to do? I don't like payroll. We discussed that yesterday. I know.
You do? You don't?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't do
Poor
it.
Charlie.
You know what I mean? I don't do it. It's not even about money. I can't stand payroll. I can't stand it. So we don't do it. Are you in,
Yeah.
is your business something you're interested in? Do something you're interested in. It's way easier to work. It's way easier to wake up every morning and work in something that you love. And then be conscious of what you want out of it. Like, you and I don't do this so that we cannot make money, but we want to be okay. We want to have a stable future. So do something you love and go after it and price yourself correctly and do all the things, but be aware also, like, what you're spending money on. Is it going to help
Numbers
the
tell a
business? I mean,
story. And
people love going, "Hey, meal out is a write-off." Okay, that's great. I'm happy that you can go to dinner at Longhorn and use it as a write-off because you talked about business. That's wonderful. But do you need to go out to dinner every night? Do you need to have McDonald's 3 times a day? Don't it doesn't make sense. You're expensing things out that literally give you no return. Like, if you're going out to breakfast with a potential client, you pay $50 for breakfast and you end up getting their business, that's an investment. You got some ROI on that. You know, don't just do things because it's a quote write off. You're investing back into yourself and into your business. Be smart about it.
yeah. And the numbers don't lie. But if you fool yourself into believing what you want them to believe, then that's arguably even worse. But that's to what your point is every expense doesn't necessarily need to be made. And you could say, oh, it is a write off, but why?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point? Constantly is what is the
Mm-hmm.
point? Now, you can goal plan and you can set goals, but we all learned in school about SMART targets, I think. SMART goals. So I'm not going to sit here and do that, but they have to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point being pie in the sky, and you will have either evidence to show, that it was realistic, or you'll have a story of why your future goal could be realistic. And I'm thinking about Matt, for example. This year will be completely different to next year for him. And I'm super excited because I saw the post this morning. I'm like, yay, it's official.
Yeah.
And so he's got to go into next year just on a completely different train.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Yeah.
thought. But just be realistic with yourselves. I said earlier about giving yourselves A pluses. There's no point aiming for an A plus if you're a C grade student.
Yeah, absolutely.
But put the work in, do what you can. So, I think that covers the reviewing side a little bit. If you need professional help to do that, you know us. We've always said go get a pro to help you out. So do that if you need to, and we're always available to talk to. I say always, like, we are always, but you're welcome to message us and we will get back to you.
Yeah.
We're not always available. I need to stop saying that. Okay, let's talk about cleaning up for the end of the year.
So much.
There's a lot. Do I want to start with the P word? No, I probably don't. because Mary hates payroll, everybody, if you didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm.
I've only said it 50 times this week.
And it's
And we're on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
And we haven't talked yet this morning. So that tells enough. And that was all yesterday.
Yeah.
And shout out to
So,
Charlie. We're Charlie.
shout out to Charlie, because we love Charlie. Charlie's our payroll expert, and we gave him a lot to take care of for us yesterday. So, cleaning up the financial side of the business, obviously reconciliations, knowing where you are in your entire point of the business, your P&Ls and everything. This is when we get into tax planning stage, because we are the week of Thanksgiving. Obviously, this is going to go out after Thanksgiving, so hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. This is when everybody's making sure their tax plans worked.
Yeah.
Essentially, for 2025. But what can you put in place ready for tax season for next year? What other things would you look at, like vendor lists, expenses? What types of things do you look at going into the end of the year?
So
On the whole,
the first thing I do, I audit all the transactions, make sure all the classifications are done right, rework the chart of accounts because we've onboarded a lot of people, and we've offboarded people. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. And that's the first thing I look at. Then I look at the balance sheets and make sure that makes sense. A lot of people there are people that will go out and get a new car with the business and not send any paperwork over. So that's, I need to know how much, the new GMC or Ford F-150 was in order for that to make sense because it is an asset and there is also a loan payable associated with that. I look at the distributions. I look at the contributions for the owners. After that, then I start going through vendors and making sure, seeing who is paid more than $600 because $600 is your anything over that is they get a 1099. So we start going through all those things, making sure we have all the paperwork for all the employees, making sure that you have payroll happening. And then we look at where your bottom line is going to hit within the month because we have a month and we need to know where you're going to be hitting with that. Now, if you also have a W-2 job and you have this, then there's navigating that. Did you have a baby this year? Did you get married this year? Did you get divorced this year? Do you now have your elderly parent living with you who doesn't work and you're taking care of them? Because all those things impact your taxes. And so that's when you and we make sure we get an end of year, and Cashley really, but you and I sit together and we go through all the things that people need to double check. And if you're a monthly client, a lot of it doesn't apply. But if you're not, or you haven't shared with us what's happening, then, we need to know that information.
And that reminded me, I need to get with my health insurance lady for everybody because we talked about that yesterday and I need to send her a message because that's the other thing is getting ready for next year. There's cut-offs like health insurance. If you're not set by December 15th, you're not ready for January 1st. You're waiting for a February 1st deadline. And that will affect fringe benefits if that's something that's set up within your company with your tax plan. So when we're talking about pivots, and we've pivoted throughout the year, look at your insurances, look at your payroll, look at, you've got to have the full picture in mind. And yes, there's different pieces to the puzzle, but they all make your puzzle. Yeah. So you have to really be on top of everything. And I had this written down. It's you can't plan for 2026 if 2025's mess is still sitting on your desk.
And that's something I like. I micromanage the hell out of myself for someone that doesn't like to be micromanaged. Yeah. And I said when we started, I have no idea how I feel because honestly, I feel really overwhelmed because I have a ton of work to get done. And I'll say this from personal experience. It's really important. If you can't make a doctor appointment, you reschedule it. So if you have something on your list to get done, you don't just not do it. You need to reschedule it.
Oh my gosh. Asana's been a revelation.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I was not a big fan of managing myself because I don't like that level of intense accountability, but it helps so much. So I love it. It's changed everything. Yeah. I'll be on a meeting with somebody and it's like, okay, I've got to do this. So I'll put that task into Asana based on the meeting that we're having, and it's just amazing.
And you fought me on one. You fought me so hard on Asana.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I did.
Well, Friday
I was
night you
set in my
fought me
ways,
on
and
just having a daily schedule. So, and now you're like, oh yeah, I guess I really need that. Yeah, I mean,
I re-
listen,
I already had a
this is
schedule.
mine
Fine with my
every
schedule.
day. I have to, otherwise it will not get done.
Yeah.
And people
Well,
need to be accountable
yeah.
for that within their own business. What is the most important thing to get done? Map out your hours. I'm not saying I stick to it, but I get it all done. I mean, in an ideal world, sure, great. It would be 8 to 11, I do this, 11 to 11:30, I do that, 11:30 to 12, this. But I do truly map out, all my hours from 6:30 in the morning to 10:30 at night.
Yeah. And you map out your breaks as well, because we know you need your
Yeah.
breaks. You can't just go through
No, yeah, I map out
14
my
hours,
breaks. I map out
16 hours
my
a day.
when I wake up after, I have lunch every day and then I take a nap. And I know in an ideal world, you wake up and you start working. Well, that's not me. Like, I need 30 minutes. I call it my Aria time. Like, I need 30 minutes. I'm like a 3-year-old when I wake up from a nap. But I need my 30 minutes
I
to
can't
start
believe
functioning and life is good.
I can't believe I called you Aria yesterday,
Oh.
and I didn't even think about it. I was like, "Oh, that's Aria," and it just came out. It was weird. That actually leads on really nicely into prepping for a strong start to
Yeah.
2026. So, getting yourself set up right, you set your goals for 2026 and what you want to be doing. Knowing, obviously, what that does will lead into give you the momentum going into Q1. So, essentially, having your plan set for the year, breaking that down quarter by quarter, and then putting a plan of attack into place. It's not a plan of action, because you've got to attack your
Hmm.
plan. I don't care. It's not action. It's
Yeah.
attack. You've got to be aggressive with your plans. Now, you more than anybody would talk about budgeting based on the actual numbers and not the vibes in the place.
Hmm.
And you've always said about taking it's not about personal, it's
Yeah.
business when it comes to the numbers side of things. So when you start goal setting, what do you look at?
I go macro and then I drill down. I go, how much money do we want to gross this year? And then I start drilling. I go backwards. I start breaking that down into monthly versus tax planning versus tax filing, 3 different revenue streams. And then I map out how many I need for each category. And then look at it and go, is this realistic? Can I manage this? And that's how I do our business is I look at it that way because if I can't if I need and I'm just throwing a number out there. If I need 500 tax returns to make that number work, then I need to change that number because I can't handle 500 tax returns a year. I can do 2 to 300, but 500 is no because there's only one of me, which is a problem for our company and what we do. I have a spicy brain and it's really different than most people's. And that's how we're able to do what we do. So then I go, okay, well, why do I need this gross number? Maybe this gross number needs to change. And that's what people should be doing. If you don't have the support, or if you're like me, a specialist in your field, well, then why do you need that gross revenue number? Is it because that's a dream goal, or is it because your expenses, you need that to make sure your expenses are met? Like, be realistic
Yeah.
about it.
So I was just talking about my friend who owns a pest control company. He's got 5 techs that work for him, and he talks about how he needs to get another tech to open up this next territory and the next, area that he wants to cover, and that will boost his revenues.
Mhm.
He's obviously got his process down, so now it's how does he expand and how does he grow and continue to elevate his
Mhm.
business. So, but he's done that over 15 years, and it's been a constant evolution of knowing what he needs, what he wants, when he wants it. And as you go, you will learn how to do this. If you're I say younger business owner, as in not necessarily age, I mean length of owning a
Mhm.
business. If you are young in owning a business, then you are going to learn it as you go.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, get the guidance that you need, because there's people that have done this successfully for a while, and we're out here. So
Yeah.
come find us. I'm going to argue against myself a little bit and say that you can have pie in the sky goals,
Oh, yeah.
but then you've got to work backwards and say, how do you get to them, and can you make it realistically? If you have bigger goals, bigger aspirations, like you said, if we end up wanting to do 500 returns, and I said wanting, not needing,
Right.
to do that, we'd have to have another tax pro on staff that jives with your spicy brain.
Right.
And that would be an adjustment. There's so many different things that you would have to do and evaluate, but it's how do you do it, and how do you plan for those goals?
Yeah.
Essentially, I know that we've talked a little bit about tax planning. Obviously, December is huge because if you don't have all your stuff lined up, then you're going to be in trouble. Yep. There's some magic that can be worked, but not as much as people think. So if you don't have somebody doing tax planning, if they literally just file your taxes, you need a different accountant. So
yeah,
I'll say it.
Absolutely.
You may as well be using TurboTax at that point. So definitely get with somebody that sits down, plans out how to maximize your taxes, and
explains it to you.
It's not always about, thank you. Because I was just going to say, it's not about just completely reducing all of your liability away, because that might not be the best thing for your financial situation. Mm-hmm. You need somebody that's going to understand what's going on in your business, in your life, because there's no point, we've talked about the people that have wanted to buy houses and never told us, so then they're up shit creek afterwards, after taxes have been filed. So get that person lined up. Anything else on prepping for a strong start?
No, I think you've really hit everything. Just, have a great mindset. Be ready for 26. It's 5 weeks away, literally.
Oh God, it is just 5 weeks away.
Just be ready. Have a good, have a good thought process on it. Don't. Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm saying this because I'm convincing myself. Like, I'm overwhelmed with work, but I also know that I'll knock it out of the park. Everything will be done. We'll be on point, and we're gonna walk into 2026 really strong and just crushing it. Um, having, we have a great set of clients now. Working with those people. And I'm really excited for 26. I'm really excited. 25 has definitely been a year that everything business and personal has changed. And I'm really excited to walk into 2026 just brand new. Like, learn from all the crap, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. We've learned from it all. And we're walking in 26 really strong. And I'm excited for it.
I agree. Yeah, 26 is going to be fun. I think we've learned a lot this year. We've made the adjustments as we've gone. Mm-hmm. And now it's how do we maximize and optimize what we've got. So, I'm excited.
Fight,
Yeah, life is all about learning. Making those mistakes and learning from them is huge. And being able to reflect, is it objectively or objectively? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, again, my brain. Yeah, reflecting objectively and saying, okay, was that the right thing to do? Yes, no. What adjustments could I have made? Like, it's all giving you better direction and giving you a better roadmap for the next year. If you know where you want to be in 5-10 years down the road, then plan backwards. Like Mary talked about, starting macro, then going micro and getting into the minutiae. You will find your way.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I've got people that I want us to work with. I'm working on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I can see the potential in what they want to do and the adjustments they want to make, and see everybody else's journey along the way. And we've got so many cool clients that are finally getting what they deserve. Mm-hmm. They worked super hard. They're seeing the fruits of the labor, and 2026 is just going to be so fun.
And it's
going to be a riot.
I'll say it, like, some people may not feel this way, other people do. It's scary when you start having everything that you've dreamt of become reality. Like, I have my bucket list. I have my things I want to make sure I get done. And I usually accomplish pretty much everything I set out for, but it is scary when it happens. And, I've been freaking out for about 3 days that just everything that we've busted our ass for is coming through and it's happening. And I'm good now, but honestly, I'm almost good. But honestly, it scared the freaking hell out of me. that like, wow, my life has really become everything I've dreamt of. That's okay. It's okay to have a freak out on that. Just don't unpack and sit there. Figure it out, do whatever you got to do, but know that at the end, you've worked your ass off for that reason, for this all to happen.
Well, I don't know how else to wrap that up any better. So, see you guys next week.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have like
Now,
2 more weeks.
any
We have 2 more weeks of podcasts, then we're out for holidays. And it sounds like we're on vacation, but you and I work actually more when the office is closed than we do any other time.
yeah, because we're not getting our proverbial doors bashed
Right.
in.
And then
Wait, that sounded so wrong. Sorry.
and then we start 26 season 2. Very excited for season 2. When we map everything out, we plan everything. So yeah, a couple more weeks and we're in wrap up.
Yep. Any final thoughts on this one before I dive into me wrapping up?
No, just that next week we'll have some news. We'll have a name change,
Yep.
put it that way. But yeah, life is good.
Yep. My entire work life will be changed by next week.
Mhm.
It's going to change one of my favorite phrases as well. So we'll have to discuss that and how that's going to
Yeah.
work. I guess that really leads me in nicely, because the whole point of this is that your business deserves a fresh start, an organized start, and not a chaotic scramble in January. So point of this episode is to tell everybody to take that time to reflect now, clean up and plan ahead, so 2026 becomes a year of clarity, structure, and real growth. If anybody wants to do some strategy sessions, they're more than welcome to reach out to us at peacelovbiz.com. That's peaceluvbiz.com, and book your year-end reviews or tax planning session and walk into the new year with peace, love, and a solid plan. So yeah, that's good. So until next time, everybody, we will see you next week. Bye.